Good day, everyone. This is teacher Jonathan once again, and I'd like to welcome you all in our today's virtual presentation about diffusion and osmosis. Let's get started. So let's have a clear definition of what diffusion is. Diffusion is the movement of molecules from an area in which they are highly concentrated to an area in which they are less concentrated. Okay, so very simple definition, from an area of higher concentration to an area of low concentration. And if I'm going to ask you some examples about diffusion, um, you probably say that you're going to spray one or maybe a perfume in one corner of the room, and then you will later notice that you can smell the perfume all over the room. Okay, assuming that you turn off the fan and the aircon. How is that? It's because of diffusion. Okay, um, uh, there is a movement of molecules. Molecules are moving actually, right? Uh, and since we are talking about diffusion, this is from higher concentration to lower concentration. So for this video, I would like to use this example. All right. So I have here a beaker with water, and let's just say that this is the food coloring. Okay. So I drop the food coloring right here. And then after a few seconds, a few minutes, it's gonna go like this. All right. And then later on, the food coloring is distributed evenly in that bottle of beaker. Okay. And that is with, I mean, without stirring the beaker, without stirring the beaker. We just allow the food coloring to just move from higher concentration, this is the higher concentration, to a lower concentration. So it's gonna look like this later on. And so from this example, you can see that the food coloring diffusing in water. Okay, let's take a look at this video.
What is diffusion? Ever wonder how substances move around the body, or how a metabolite gets in and out of the cell, or how perfume spray spread the aroma around in a matter of seconds from the corner you sprayed in to the rest of your room? Diffusion is to be blamed. Yes, it is the kind of transport in which dissolved substances or particles move from region of higher concentration to lower concentration with no external energy involved. Since this transport does not require energy from external source, it is also called passive transport. Diffusion occurs when particles, gases, or dissolved substances are mobile or free to move as they spread from where they are in high concentration to the region where they are in low concentration throughout the concentration gradient. The concentration gradient is an environment in which particles are distributed in different concentrations, keeping high concentration region on one side and low concentration on the other side. In the human body, the blood takes oxygen using this simple mode of passive transport, in which oxygen moves from alveolar air spaces, in which it happens to be in higher concentration, to the blood where it is used to be in lower concentration. It can also be conceived as the mode of transport in which substances move from region of abundance to the region of demand, where their concentration is lower. Cells use a bit different, yet sophisticated kind of diffusion. They use some carrier proteins to take in the required substance of nutrients, and since this mode involves facilitation of these proteins, to allow these substances inside the cell through the membrane. This kind of diffusion is called facilitated diffusion. An important example is that of blood. Oxygen binds with red blood cells in the bloodstream for facilitated diffusion, which gives us oxygenated blood.
All right. Now, let's talk about osmosis this time. Osmosis. Okay, so what is osmosis? The diffusion of water across the selectively permeable membrane. So this is like the movement of water or the diffusion of water across a selectively permeable membrane. Water moves from a high concentration of water where less salt or sugar dissolved in it to a low concentration of water. This means that water would cross a selectively permeable membrane from a dilute solution to a concentrated solution. So that is osmosis. So let's take a look at this illustration right here. So high concentration of water to low concentration of water. So we have here the salt or sugar, and you can see that this one here is the movement of water from high concentration of water to a low concentration of water. I have a video for you. Let's take a look at this. Okay, so um, in this picture, a red blood cell is put in the glass. Okay, so this is the red blood cell. Put it in a glass of distilled water, all water with no salt or no sugars. This one here is filled with distilled water. Because there is a high concentration of water outside the cell, water enters the cell by osmosis. And you will see, you will notice later on that the red blood cell will accumulate a lot of water through osmosis. In this case, too much water enters the cell, swells to the point of bursting open. So, in the end piece of the cell membrane are left in the water. So I made mention about selective permeable membrane. What is this? This is a membrane that allows only certain materials to cross it. So I think we already seen that in the video. Okay, so materials pass through pores in the membrane. So it's just like the molecule can go in and go out of the cell. But since this is selectively permeable membrane, that means not all molecules can go in or out, right? Selectively only. So, two terms to study in this process. There are two words that you need to know. The first word is hypertonic, and next one is hypotonic, and this one here, this is osmosis. Okay. So what is hypertonic? Hypertonic is a solution which contains more solvent than solid. Example, purified water, there's almost no solid dissolved in the solvent. Hypotonic means a solution with a lower salt concentration than a normal cell of the body and the blood. So as opposed to isotonic solution or hypertonic solution. So, you might say, so what's the importance? All living things have certain requirements they must satisfy in order to remain alive. We call that homeostasis. Our body, for example, has to maintain the balance, okay? And so in order for us to function normally, um, we need some minerals to go in and out of that cell in order for us to be normal, to function well. Okay, and that is because of diffusion and osmosis as well. This includes exchanging gases. So the carbon dioxide and oxygen exchange in our lungs They are because diffusion. Okay, so when you inhale oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide, okay, diffusion is going on. All right, taking in water, minerals, and food, and eliminating wastes. So all these are all important functions or body processes that help us maintain the balance. All right, these tasks happen at all cellular level. So osmosis diffusion happens in the cellular level in our cells. Molecules move through the cell or cell membrane by diffusion or osmosis. Like what I said, all living things have certain requirements and they must satisfy in order to remain alive or function normally. Like what I said a while ago, the carbon dioxide and oxygen exchange are just very important. Eliminating wastes and taking some water and minerals. So um, for your this is something to think about. Okay, let's I would like to challenge everyone that you answer, you take time to answer this one. All right, these are all review questions. You can pause this video or you can um, answer this. Then yeah, go ahead, challenge yourselves. All right, so I have 8 questions in here, and then you can answer this in your own. Maybe you can recite it with your parents or to a friend, and then go back to the video, and if you can review and then check your answer, you can go ahead. All right. So that's all for me now. And once again, thank you so much for taking your time. And I hope you find this video useful. All right. Bye, everyone.